Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening to this, and welcome to Ma'am, Your Toast is Too Soggy podcast where I talk about random shits that goes through my inexistential brain literally every day. I mean, not every day, but on a regular basis. You get what I mean. So basically, before we move into talking about like specified topics and such, I think it would only be appropriate to further expose or like introduce like what the fuck is going on, you know? So basically, this podcast is my safe space to speak my mind, for my opinions and things that go through my head in a judgment-free zone. Yeah, I think it's because when I do podcasts, it's like I'm talking to an invisible audience, and thus there's no sort of like expectation on how people perceive on me. Except you can leave a review if you want to on our Twitter account, which I will tell about later. All right. So again, this podcast is basically my coping mechanism from this very depressing world and very sad. Yeah, just world. You know what I mean? Yeah, that. I don't know why I did that. But um the reason why I started doing podcasts instead of anything else, we have social media and such, is because first of all, I have been into podcasts recently. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, I listen to Emma Chamberlain's podcast, Anything Goes, and I find it very therapeutic when like you listen to a podcast while doing anything like your daily chores, and that is how I expect you to do this, to listen to this podcast too. Just it opens much more perspectives on much more things, and it's also somehow like a very way to engage with people without being judged, as mentioned earlier. Yeah. But that is like a minor reason, I guess. It's like not the main thing that I'm concerned about or like that drove me to make this podcast. The main thing though is that I am desperate. Uh oh, not me having my James Charles moment. Uh oh. But no, I'm gonna be real. I am kind of like mentally and emotionally starved for social connection. Like, talk to me, someone, you know? And being me is like, it's so hard to find people that you can talk to, people that actually reciprocates your energy. Because always had this like sort of anxiety when I talk to people, like, am I am I doing too much or am I doing too little? Because you don't want to be that bitch. You know what I mean by that bitch, like that bitch that annoys people. Yeah, you don't want to be that bitch, that person that ruins the vibe of the conversation. So me having that sort of like mentality, I just find it so hard to be comfortable to have a normal conversation with people, especially with this pandemic going on. Everything's like online, like I want to see your face, like what is your facial reaction when talking to me. But anyways, because of that, I think podcast is a very great alternative for me to have a conversation and engage with people. Despite that, aside from that, I also think that podcasts are very is a very interesting way to discover interesting topics, and again, open to a much more diverse and a variety of perspectives, like you're not just viewing a certain topic from one angle. However, viewers discretion is also advised, because despite the topics being interesting, they might also be not suitable for certain people. So my message is, if you are in any way uncomfortable listening to this, um get out. No, I'm just joking. I advise you to not listen to this, because again, this is my space to speak about whatever I want in a respectable manner. But if you are uncomfortable with the language being used or any sort of things that goes on into this podcast, please, yeah, don't do it, okay? So basically, now that I've explained, why is this sounding like a lecture? Never mind. Now that you understand why I am doing this podcast, which you never had to understand from the beginning, anyways, I'll just give a brief explanation on how each episode will work. Okay? So we will be touching more into philosophical topics, like, things that somehow relates to how society works, and things that are much more like relatable. And yeah, philosophy. Even though this MF ain't got a degree in philosophy, I mean, I've literally just graduated high school and just got into college. Like, I have barely any knowledge about anything that I'm talking about. But aren't we all our own therapists? So I can talk whatever I want, okay? Don't ruin the vibe for me. With that being said, other than philosophical topics, we can also maybe touch into technical things, like, technical things. What do you want me to explain? You know what that means. And then something that I've been thinking about, in each episode, we will have this sort of like break session. And in the break session, we will have a celebrity crash session where I will be inviting A-list celebrities to be interviewed, about their lives, and get to know them better through my podcast. Isn't that great? Oh my god, I'm such a showstopper. That had no relation whatsoever. Okay, that was so random. But yeah, we will have a celebrity crush session where I will be inviting A-list celebrities to talk about their lives and share their moments with us. And then after that, we will have Q&As about the topics that had been talked about. For this Q&A session, as mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if I mentioned it. I have amnesia. Okay, anyways, for this Q&A session, you can ask your questions on our official Twitter account. It is at pseudosloth, okay? Actually, it's just mine. I don't have a team. I'm just solo. But you can point out your questions at our official Twitter account. It is at pseudo, PSEUDO_sloth. You know how to spell sloth. Okay, or you can just search My Tits Podcast. And yeah, I will post the topics that will be talked about there, and then you can reply with any sort of questions whatsoever. Okay? And one thing to note, though, is that as I am a student. I don't know why I went to college anyways, but I'm a student, so I may be busy, thus I cannot really upload on like specified timing. So the uploads will probably be irregular. I don't know, maybe once 2 weeks, twice a week. I don't know. Nobody knows how my system, my brain works. I don't understand. So that's that. That is basically how this whole thing will work. And yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this. And I love you guys so much just for being here. I really appreciate it. I've been thinking about doing this podcast ever since I was in high school. But me, your typical procrastinator, had months to do it, but decide to waste his time on unnecessary things. Yeah, so again, that's that. One last thing, though, that I may need to clarify is the name of this podcast. As you can see, the theme here is very goofy. It's just like stupid. Like, I'm stupid, you are smart, but you are listening to me talking about stupid things. You get my point? Okay, so yeah, it's just stupid, funny, quirky vibes here. So if you're not like that, choose to hear for a better podcast, I guess. There are tons of other podcasts that are much more educational rather than this, but I would love to have you here. Okay, I really do. But again, for the name, despite the "ma'am, your toast is too soggy" being acronymed into my tits, I want you to understand that there is no intention whatsoever in any objectification of women. Okay, I am never into things like that. I believe that anyone, despite their body size, skin color, should love their body the way they are. Okay, you know, if you're a man, love your nipples. I literally have 3 nipples. I don't know why I said that. But you know what they say, hashtag my body, my choice. Yeah. So that's on the name of this. It is just pure stupidity. I don't know what goes on through my brain. So if you think the name is already stupid, you ain't heard nothing yet about what I will be talking about in this podcast. So stay tuned. I love you guys so much. I literally do. Like, your existence is appreciated. It is loved. It is valued. Please don't leave me. Don't leave me. Okay? So I can't wait to talk to you guys about the first episode's topic, which I will be posting on the Twitter account. And be sure to interact with me because, again, I am socially deprived. And I need things to talk about. So stay tuned, and I love you guys so much. I'm sorry if this in any way makes you feel uncomfortable. And I love you guys so much. Bye!